Sendestelle Berlin.
Wenn ihr den Rundfunk hören.
Das Fernsehen will ja kein Luxusartikel bleiben.
Herzlich willkommen. Welcome, or how I would like to say as a native Berliner, Tachchen. Schön, dass alle da sind. Well, this is it. This is going to be like the press conference for the IFA 2024, and I hope you're just as excited as I am. I mean, in all these years that I've been here, part of the IFA itself, this is the second time that I'll be hosting the press conference itself, but it's not for the first time ever to be here in the cellar, in the sub-levels of the City Cube, which is quite amazing. I mean, I remember as a little boy, really so young, that my mother had to be with me to see my first concert ever, when this building was not the Cube, but the Deutschlandhalle, to see Depeche Mode. And that pretty much tells you like how old I am. It's been a while. And this IFA, it's truly something special. I mean, not only it's an anniversary, but as you can tell, so many things have changed. And I could go on for hours about all the experiences, the adventures that we've been actually living through here at the IFA itself, working as a host somewhere at the booth, hosting the press conference as such. But you know what? The good thing about me is I don't need to know all of that, because I will have some guests that will actually explain everything to you. One thing that I would like to introduce to you is this QR code, which should be here on that screen. Let me just step like to the side. This will become very handy, because at the very end of this press conference, we will have a Q&A. And this is actually your link to not the app, but actually the browser. So if you feel like, oh, I don't have the Slido application on my phone, so I won't be able to participate, no, it's actually a link to the browser. So whoever has a smartphone will have access to it. And of course, all of your questions are more than welcome. But then again, we are looking forward just to give you all that information that maybe none of your questions remain. And therefore, just let me give you kind of an idea what's going to happen. First and foremost, I will actually invite our guests here to the stage. I will ask them some questions in order just to introduce them properly. Then you will have some presentations. One is actually going towards the idea of presenting you the new path of IFA. Then again, it's going to be all about the infos, the insights. And in the end, as I just already announced, there will be a Q&A, and we are looking forward again towards your question. So please, welcome to the stage. I'd like to welcome three people who are heavily involved in the fate of IFA. First and foremost, Dr. Sarah Warnecke, Managing Director of GFU Consumer and Home Electronics. GFU is the brand owner of IFA and one of two shareholders of IFA Management GmbH. Then Lisa Hennant, CEO of Clarion Events Limited, the other shareholder in the IFA Management joint venture. And of course, Leif Lindner, CEO of IFA Management GmbH, which is responsible for the organization of the trade show. So please, welcome to the stage. That's exciting. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And as you can tell, we just saw just a short clip which only shows a small part of the history. This is why I would like to know from you, what does 100 years of IFA history mean to you? Lisa, shall we start with you?
Thank you very much, Patrice, and thank you to the IFA community for welcoming us here to Berlin. For me, IFA simplifies innovation. It showcases how the consumer electronics and home appliances industry has actually revolutionized the way we live our everyday lives. I've always been fascinated by the progress and the technological leaps and bounds that the developers, suppliers and manufacturers make, and certainly are making in the years that we're currently facing. These things enhance our everyday lives, and as consumers, we're always looking for the next thing that can make the difference to our everyday lives, make it go faster, make it go better, and have a better experience. And I can honestly say, in my 30 years of working in the live events industry, that I don't think I've ever had the privilege of working with a brand as recognized and renowned as IFA, but yet steeped in history, but has the ability to transform the future.
Thank you so much, and welcome again. Life, as you can tell, Life and I pretty much look like twin. It's not only almost like the same haircut, but also we are also like from Berlin. So what does IFA mean to you?
Yeah, IFA is a part of my life and of my city. As you said, I grew up in Berlin, and IFA was there every late summer. For me, it is a symbol of progress and innovation. I still remember my first visits as a teenager. Even then, I was fascinated by the technology on display. Today, as part of the IFA management team, I'm proud to continue this tradition. IFA brings the latest innovation directly to the capital of Germany and makes them accessible to everyone. Innovation for all.
And Dr. Sarah Warnecke, I don't know if I'm really actually asking the question correctly, because what I wrote down is can I actually call you an IFA veteran? I mean, what's your special IFA moment?
Well, I wouldn't call myself a veteran, but I already have more than 10 events under my belt, so I've been here around a little bit. And every time there is a feeling that grips me, and it actually sets in right at this moment, when the halls have already filled up with the journalists on the first morning of the press days. And then come the trade visitors, the retailers, and of course the consumers. These are the moments when I realize what all the people involved in the IFA project have been working for all year. This vibrant energy is simply unique for me.
And I'm sure you're intensively involved with the IFA history over the last few months. Are there any particular events that you have made that have made a special impression on you?
Well, there are so many of them. It's hard to put them in one. Let me think about it. I'll come back to you later.
Live.
Yeah. For me, it is clearly the moment when Vice Chancellor Willy Brandt introduced the colored television in Western Germany, as you saw in the clip, in IFA 1967, when he pressed the button. The new era began in this moment. His quote, "Color TV does not want to remain a luxury item," symbolizes what IFA is all about, innovation for all.
So now that I had a little bit of time to think about it, for me, one very big milestone was the integration of the home appliances in 2008. That was shortly before I started IFA, but this integration has a lasting impact on the trade show until today. And since then, IFA has become even more diverse and has a strong core that continues to develop with a broad portfolio.
Elisa, you had even more time now?
I do. I think for me, it's probably a little bit more recent in time, and I have to say in 2022, when we formed the joint venture between Clarion and the GFU, it signalled for me the opportunity to reimagine the next 100 years of IFA alongside the industry, our partners, and of course the consumers and customers themselves. And we're incredibly proud to be part of this story now and in the future.
Which is actually a great segue that you just built there, because the thing is, GFU is known as the owner of the brand IFA itself. Maybe you could tell us a bit more about Clarion, of their involvement.
Okay, well, Clarion has been involved in the live events industry for some 80 years, actually, and we're involved in some of the most vibrant industry sectors globally, of which consumer electronics and home appliances is one of the major sectors that we are active in globally. We're headquartered in London, although we do have offices in most international markets where our team of 2,000 team members are based. We are now the largest privately owned live events and exhibition organiser globally. And the most important thing I wanted to share really was just that our vision and our purpose is to place exceptional customer outcomes at the heart of everything we do in our shows, by making every business connection count and delivering world-class exhibitions and networking opportunities and product display opportunities for our customer base.
If I get it right, the old IFA logo lasted quite a long time. I mean, as long as I remember, this logo has always been here. But I really like this new corporate identity. How did it come about live?
Yeah, the rebranding was an important step. We intentionally moved away from the old design. The new design is modern, stylish, and absolutely dynamic. And homage, the colors are reminiscent of the German TV test card that many people still know. It was shown after the end of the program until, well, I think it was into the 90s. For us, it represents the change and innovation that IFA stands for.
And however, you kept one popular component. It's this one over here. It's the Funk Otto. I mean, for the native Germans, of course, it's Funk Otto. For those who are not here from around, it's not the Funk Otto, it's indeed the Funk Otto. Sarah, could you maybe tell us a bit more about what he's all about right now?
You're totally right. The Funk Otto is still alive and kicking. And even though, of course, today IFA is a lot more than what Funk Otto used to present, to us it is still a very important reminder of the roots of IFA. And he's been a symbol for IFA for more than 50 years. And for us as a brand owner, it was very important to keep it.
And the thing is, now also IFA is into fashion, apparently. You have a whole collection. Any favorite pieces that you have within the collection?
Yes, we have several ones. I can tell you, I'm a big fan of the baseball or bomber jacket.
You have a bomber jacket?
Yes.
How did it come that I... Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, so for me, of course, Funk Otto is really important, and I really like the style of the T-shirts. They're fantastic.
Great. I haven't seen none of it.
I like them all. I like everything on there. There's a really good collection. It's quality. It's very reflective of the future, and I think it's a sign of the community that we're trying to bring together.
I just seen like a little glimpse at the kickoff, and I was quite amazed. But I mean, I'm not complaining that I received anything yet at this point. So I can tell really like the whole collection is really outstanding. At the other trade shows, the logo is often used casually. Here it looks like a label that stands for quality, as everybody said at this point. But let's not talk too much about the fashion. Let's see what is it that we can expect now from between now and next Tuesday evening.
Please be patient a little bit and wait a little longer. The more detailed preview is coming in a few moments.
And I'm really curious as a journalist. But then I take a look into the future with Sarah and Lisa. What can we expect from IFA in its 101st year?
So IFA stands for Innovation for All. We're not just paying lip service to this claim, but want to expand on it in the coming years. We will continue to develop and expand all areas where necessary. We will continue to develop physical and digital concepts to remain successful. And we are working on this together with the shareholders, together with the IFA team.
Talking about shareholders?
I think our goal is clear. We want IFA to remain the most influential and relevant trade show in a live environment for the consumer electronics and home appliance sector. We constantly set our standards high. We've got strong goals which are driven by progress, creativity and courage. And as Sarah said, innovation for all, I think perfectly summarises what we're trying to achieve. And together with our exhibitors, our partners, the press here today, we really do want to be one step ahead of the game and to see IFA flourish for the next 100 years.
Great. So I'm actually through with all these basic questions. Thank you so much for this great opening. I hope that this is going to nourish actually all the questions coming up later. So see you guys then later at the Q&A, as Live will actually just be talking now about what's coming up for the next future days, and then we will have the doctor coming back and coming with the straight numbers. I'm very curious about all these trends. So thank you very much, and Live, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to Berlin, welcome back to IFA, and most importantly, welcome to our industry's biggest birthday party yet. IFA turns 100 this year. What an anniversary for the world's largest consumer electronics and home appliances show. And what a history. We are looking back at 100 years of innovation, of being at the cutting edge of technology, and of people coming to Berlin to experience the future. But IFA is and always has been about so much more than new technologies. IFA is a connector. During the past 100 years, IFA has brought together innovators, tech manufacturers, and connected them with retailers, the media, and probably most important, with the consumer. So how about it? Have you brought us a birthday present? Well, of course, yes you have. It's you. It's you being here in Berlin. It's you joining us for IFA for celebration. For me, that's the best present. Tomorrow evening, by the way, we will have a special guest at our birthday party. The German Chancellor, Olaf Scholz, will join us for the opening gala. And yes, we have given ourselves a treat as well. And here it is. You will have seen it on your way here, all across the city. IFA has a new brand identity. It reflects on our amazing history, and it symbolizes the evolution of IFA as we gear up for IFA's next 100 years. I really love our fresh new look with its bright and bold colors. Now, change is good, disruption is good, it is necessary. But we will also keep all the good bits of IFA, like being here in Berlin, one of the most dynamic and vibrant cities in Europe. Like bringing the latest and greatest technologies to these exhibition halls next to the Funkturm. We have also kept this guy, we talked about that before, I know. So, of course, you know now his name. He's called Funk Otto. Now, that's a little fact that maybe you can also use at your next pub quiz for tech journalists when you're drinking some beers. Let's see. And Funk Otto, in the end, means broadcast Otto. Although, when I look at him, I can't help, but I think it's a little bit like Radiohead, with apologies to the Talking Heads and Tom York and friends. Know the words, IFA and innovation are synonymous. Back in 1924, the first große deutsche Funkausstellung, or Great German Broadcasting Exhibition, was all about radio broadcasting, showcasing the first tube radio receivers, early sound recorders for live broadcast, and yes, who remember maybe, Europe's first car radio. In later years, this was the place to see some of the earliest fully working electronic TV sets, second, the first color TV broadcast in Europe, and third, the first MP3 codec. Now, during the past few decades, IFA has been the place to experience the full ecosystem of the digital revolution, from the latest PCs and mobile devices to digital health, connected appliances, and smart home automation. If you're a geek like me, and that's probably most of you here, then there's a tip. During the next few days, visit IFA 100, the exhibition in the Palais am Funkturm. I can tell you, it's fantastic. You see the history of innovation, and you will see how art meets innovation. 8 Berlin artists have given us their take on how technology is changing the world and how our world is influencing technology. And the IFA 100 exhibition makes a very important point. IFA today is much more than a technology show. IFA is a cultural moment here in Berlin and far beyond. It is at IFA where technology and our relationship with technology come to life. And speaking of culture, technology and sound, we are finally putting the Sommergarten to good use again with a great lineup of music. Let me just mention 3 highlights. Don't miss tomorrow night when rock icon Bryan Adams takes to the stage. 6 PM Records, one of the hottest young music and fashion labels in Germany, will surprise hip-hop fans Friday night. And you must go and see Faceless for their first summer gig after an 8-year break. They will be joined by Stereo MCs and Koshin. And just one more. One of Germany's top podcasts, Fest und Flauschig, with Jan Böhmermann and Olli Schulz, will be recorded here at IFA Sommergarten. Technology, of course, has transformed how we work, live, and entertain ourselves, how we see and understand the world, and how we connect to people all around us. How often do you think a person is interacting with technology every single day? So I can tell you, approximately 250 times. By the way, smartphone is 85. So you see, electronic products are a main part of our life, and IFA will absolutely take care of it. IFA has always been and will always be at the forefront of change and disruption. Real-life innovation with real consumers responding to new technology here in our halls in real time. Because IFA always means innovation for all. Innovation with impact for all. That's truly, especially now, at a time when innovation is speeding up like never before. I still remember the days when I look at years for a new technology to come from concept to be available, to be useful, and to finally being widely adopted. Take mobile phones. The first mobile call on a mobile phone was made by Motorola engineer Martin Cooper in 1973. It took more than 20 years until mobile phones were used more widely. One of the first smartphones, the Nokia 1000 communicator, was released in 1996. And it took more than a decade until the truly first useful smartphones were released. Fast forward to today, and let me ask you, who of you has one of the new Snapdragon X laptops that once optimized for artificial applications? Show hands, please. Well, okay. I see only a few. Well, if you haven't tried one yet, don't worry. You will see plenty of them in our halls here at IFA. The next, who is using AI tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Copilot, Midjourney, Firefly, or DeepL? Let me see your hands. Okay. Thought so? And here's the thing. The first ChatGPT from OpenAI was released in November 2022. That's less than 2 years ago. Already, this innovation is transforming how we work, what our digital devices can do, and will completely change how we live our lives. And no, I will not check whether you will use artificial intelligence to write your articles about us, about IFA. Of course, I will not. But with AI automation and efficiency, these are the new buzzwords. It doesn't matter where it is at work, at home, or doing play. AI will transform everything. And IFA will highlight and celebrate the brands that are using AI to change our world for the better. Let's look into the future. I wanted to prove exclusively today. Microsoft and Accenture joint venture Avanade and IFA announced a long-term partnership today to drive AI-based innovation. I'm very happy that IFA is going the next step directly after the show, so please be curious for 2025. But as I said before, innovation is speeding up. Digitalization is reaching into more parts of our world. Connected devices allow us to work from anywhere. Wearables like this watch or this ring are monitoring our health and well-being. And household appliances are now packed with AI tools and even AI assistants to make our life more convenient and comfortable. At this year's IFA, you will experience this kind of innovation and more. Innovation that is truly for all, for everything, everywhere, all at once. Our concept of innovation for all, of making progress accessible to all, also comes to life through our keynote speakers this year. We will have more than 150 keynote speakers on 3 stages: audio stage, dream stage, innovation stage. Let me highlight just a few of them. Miles Dr. Reinhard Zinkan will discuss how white goods can become part of the circular economy. Marc Barocas, the CEO of Shark Ninja, will talk about the innovation engine that turned his company into a 4 billion business. And Dr. Carsten Wildberger, the CEO of Seconomy and Mediamarkt Saturn, will explore AI, connectivity, gaming, and content creation. We will also have innovative keynotes from Jim Duchovny, CEO of LF Aeronautics, presenting his flying car, and for some glamour, the ex-singer of Pussycat Dolls, Nicole Scherzinger. So, beyond the keynotes, what else should you watch out for this year's IFA? The biggest innovation scheme, of course, is AI. Make no mistake, we all have been using AI for quite some time now. AI helps us to edit pictures on our smartphones, it keeps our inboxes free from spam email, and it helps many washing machines to clean better. But now, with generative AI, we can speak directly to these systems. We can even program them without using a computer language. And, most important, we can understand them. Please join us on Monday for the Handelsblatt AI platform event here at IFA. Top experts will discuss the global impact and opportunities of AI. Another big topic is sustainability, of course. When I said that innovation is speeding up, that also extends to sustainability. Across IFA, you will see examples how technology can help us to live more sustainable. And you will see how technology is evolving to become part of the circular economy. Digital health is another big topic. If you have diabetes, worry about your heart, want to control your weight, or simply plan to get fit, you you now have the combination of wearable devices, a new generation of biosensors, and of course, artificial intelligence to support and to protect you more than ever before. During the pandemic, we all rediscovered. No, we had to rediscover the joys and wonders of home entertainment, and that hasn't stopped. People still want the best immersive experience at home that they can get. That never changed. Whether what's the latest TV technology or going old school with vinyl, you won't be surprised when I tell you that IFA is really making a big and strong comeback at IFA. And also speaking of immersive gaming, it's also growing rapidly here with our new dedicated IFA gaming area. Powered by Acer, you will see games from studios and publishers like Easier Interactive, My Games, Stratosphere, and EA Sports. You know what I've always liked about IFA? The spirit of the event. It brings together consumer electronics and home appliances. And you also can explore global tech giants, regional market leaders, and of course, fast-growing challengers. Plus, all the startups at our IFA Next area. You really must visit IFA Next, located in Hub 27, to see the young innovators. And of course, we are very happy that South Korea is our partner country for this area. That means for IFA Next. And if you visit our dedicated international B2B sourcing platform, IFA Global Markets, at Station Berlin, it's in Kreuzberg, we outsourced it, you can see where a lot of the tech all started. Now, IFA 100, we also have a little present for you, the new IFA app. We have listening and we understood, and we are making it easier for all of you, for all of our visitors, to find the technology and the companies you want to see and meet. Think of the app as a personal assistant with better interactivity, better networking, and clearer planning and wayfinding. If you haven't downloaded it yet, then use the QR code that you get it, and then you get it now. We all know when it comes to technology, disruption and high-speed evolution are the new normal. The same is true for IFA, of course. When it comes to events like IFA, the expectations of brands, of retailers, and of consumers are evolving all the time. And we are anticipating this change. We are getting ahead of it. Yes, at this year's IFA, we are celebrating the past 100 years. But as you will experience these few days, this year's IFA is also our platform to succeed and to grow in the coming years. And let me give you some numbers of this year's IFA. We are fully booked, more than 150 speakers, 78 sessions, over 1,800 exhibitors, and more ground. Therefore, we go also in the outskirts to the station. This means IFA grows, and also in other figures, for media and social media. We have at least 20% more press coverage for IFA on site. And from January to today, coverage and media reach, we increased by 21% globally. And really interesting for me is that Asia is growing by over 60% in the last half year. Social media engagement, by the way, has increased organically by 40% compared to last year. So, we are changing and disrupting IFA this year and in the years to come, because we have a bold vision for the future of IFA. Yes, IFA is a trade show, but it's so much more. To remain relevant and pioneering, IFA must evolve. Trade visitors and consumers now demanding experience, not just a collection of booths. The brands here in Berlin knows this, and they are already adapting. And we at IFA know this as well, and we are leading this change. So, here's how we are going to lead our industry into the next decade. Let me be clear. IFA is Berlin, and Berlin is IFA. But the IFA experience is about much more than the hardware and software here all around the Funkturm. IFA is the showcase for creativity and experiences. The brands that are creative, that act the right way and do the right thing, they earn the attention of the consumers. And they are the ones who will stand out and will succeed. And that's also true for IFA. We are evolving beyond a traditional trade show. During the coming months and years, we will mesh the IFA experience with Berlin's vibrant urban landscape. IFA will evolve into a cultural event, a citywide festival of technology and innovation. Then, in the following years, we will establish IFA as an all-year platform for innovation. A platform for innovators, for brands, and for our entire industry ecosystem to demonstrate the potential and the possibilities of technology in our world. So once again, thank you very much for coming to Berlin and joining us at our birthday party. Our celebration of a century of innovation and our start to the next 100 years for innovation for all. So here's one from my heart. Dear IFA, happy 100th birthday and happy many returns. Thank you very much.
Dankeschön live. Well, IFA next, check. Entertainment check. Information check. Exchange check. Innovations for all. I understand it. I get it. The only thing missing, IFA fashion for Patrice. But, you know, I don't want to bother you with my personal issues at this point. I know you as a journalist, you came here for business. And we mean business. IFA stands for business. And in order just to much better understand the business, we will come now to the insights. And providing these, of course, are coming from the Managing Director of GFU Consumer and Home Electronics GmbH. Please welcome back to the stage, Dr. Sarah Warnecke.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Wow. Now what am I supposed to say to follow up on this firework of news about IFA? Especially since it's my job to do a little bit of number crunching for you. I'm an economist after all, so please bear with me. And I'm certain you'll find some of the facts and forecasts really interesting. I promise I'll keep it short. But before we dive in, allow me to dwell on the past for a moment. After all, this is IFA 100. IFA's 100-year history is impressive. It's one of the oldest industry trade shows in the world. And IFA has been at the cutting edge of technology. From its beginnings in the 1920s, focusing on radio and broadcasting, all the way to today with innovations like AI. An unforgettable highlight was Albert Einstein's opening speech in 1930, in which he emphasized the importance of broadcasting. His remarks were truly memorable. Allow me to quote, "Esteemed attendees and absentees, when you listen to the radio, remember how people came to possess this wonderful tool of communication. The origin of all technical achievements is the divine curiosity and the playful instinct of the working and thinking researcher, as well as the constructive fantasy of the technical inventor. His words are just as true today. Einstein highlighted what a stroke of genius radio broadcasting was. All of a sudden, it was possible to reach many people more easily than ever before. He highlighted how important technological progress was for society and how much it takes to achieve innovation. You can experience this speech in its full length as a hologram in Hall 19. It's a very short listen, just 4 minutes, but definitely worth your while. Another milestone was in 1967 when Willy Brandt launched color television in Germany with the push of the famous red button. Since then, IFA has presented countless innovations that enrich our lives. If you want to find out more, check out the GFU website, which has lots of fascinating details about 100 years of IFA and technology history. 1 century of IFA is a celebration of both tradition and innovation. As Live already mentioned, we have changed a lot visually with a fresh design to mark the big anniversary. And we've also pulled out all the stops to make IFA ready for the next 100 years to come. We hope that we are meeting your expectations and perhaps even give you a few nice surprises. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the 2 managing directors of IFA Management, Leif Lindner and Jörg Arns, as well as the entire IFA team for their commitment, creativity, and extremely hard work. I would also like to thank my own team, who once again really surpassed themselves. And finally, I would like to thank GfK for their many years of trust and cooperation, especially with regards to the market insights that I'm about to share. So let's get started with the market trends. And by the way, all the info that's about to happen here on the screen can be visited at gfu.de, so you don't have to take out your cameras, you can just go on the website later on. So now let's look at the macroeconomic facts first. The global economy continues to recover, albeit more slowly than we expected. Inflation has fallen but remains above the targets set by several important central banks. And because of inflation, economic growth stagnates, particularly in China. The rising cost of living is contributing to a slowdown in the global economy. In a world that is as interconnected as ours, things that happen elsewhere are often felt everywhere. Therefore, global inflation, interest rates, global growth, and the situation in China in particular are altogether affecting our markets. These factors could cause central banks to be cautious about cutting interest rates. In addition, a strong dollar is likely to have a negative impact on investment flows and financial stability. Consumers also worry about political and economic uncertainties, while spending decisions are increasingly made looking closely at the trade-off between price and benefit. The growth forecast for 2024 remains stable. This is mainly due to sticky inflation rates, geopolitical tensions, and economic changes. For example, the forthcoming elections in the US also play a role. A further decline in global inflation is expected during the next 12 to 18 months. However, the pace could remain slow, especially in emerging markets. High commodity prices and geopolitical tensions are also continuing to drive inflation. Inflation has a direct impact on our consumer tech markets. Looking at the figures starting in Q1 2023, we can see the market development improves directly when inflation is decreasing, which is shown in Q4 in 2023. Then, at the beginning of 2024, inflation increased and the market turned negative again. This pattern shows a direct correlation between low inflation and a positive market trend. There's a clear reason for this. The disposable income of consumers can be spent only once. Inflation, however, had an especially big impact on the costs of so-called fast-moving consumer goods. Consumers cannot avoid paying higher prices for FMCG, which means they have less disposable income to spend on consumer tech. Looking at the development of the consumer tech market, there was a stabilization in 2023 on a global level, with a volume of just under 1.2 trillion US dollars. Both segments, consumer electronics and home appliances, have also shown a stable development. Now, let's take a look at the regional breakdown of the consumer and home electronics market. In the first half of 2024, we have a mixed picture. Some regions showed growth, for example, Eastern Europe and the Middle East. Others, such as Western Europe and Latin America, are recording declines. Please note at this point, all market figures are shown here are based on US dollars at fixed exchange rates. Due to the changes in exchange rates, the data may show different trends when converted into the respective national currencies. Now, after looking at the different regions of the world, let's look at the different product categories. For the first half of 2024, we can see different trends for the major product groups. There are only two segments that show positive results. Telecommunication products grew by 2.3%, and the photo segment grew by 8.1%. The consumer electronics and the IT segments declined by 2.5% and 5.4% respectively. Home appliances products were also declining, with the major domestic appliances down 1.9% and small domestic appliances down 0.8%. So before I give you an outlook at the remainder of the year, let's have a quick look at the trends driving our markets right now, which can also be seen here at IFA. While the latest market figures offer valuable insights into the current economic landscape, it's essential to highlight the growing influence of e-commerce. During the pandemic, e-commerce increased in almost every country. This comes as no surprise, as shops were closed due to lockdowns. E-commerce was the only way to do any kind of shopping except for fundamentals. For example, in Western and Eastern Europe, the e-commerce market share is recently rising again after declining due to the reopening of the stores in 2022. In contrast, e-commerce in China is constantly growing since the pandemic and is now even higher than during the pandemic. The e-commerce share of the overall consumer tech market stabilized at around 35% after the pandemic. This means that this phenomenon of online shopping has not returned to its peak yet, but the trend is clear. Besides e-commerce, there is another factor driving sales, and it has always been a key influencer of our industries, now, in the past, and it will in the future. I'm talking about innovation. In our opinion, innovation will continue to play a decisive role. This has always been one of the main goals of IFA. Since our first event in 1924, IFA has stood for innovation, and it will continue to do so in the future. Our IFA Next Hall, where about 200 startups present their innovations, is a showcase for this aspiration. We often think of innovations as something completely new, but there's also a lot of innovation in companies who further develop existing products. The improvement of products to give them premium quality is often underpinned by innovation. premium products already account for more than a quarter of sales in many regions. In this context, we can already see that this trend towards more premium products will intensify in the future. The term premium stands for above average quality and exclusivity, which can also be found in the area of digital health, for example. This very innovative and young area will play an even larger role in the future. Across all age groups, people are now much more mindful of their personal health. And that's a trend that started even before the COVID-19 pandemic. As a result, products that help people to diagnose their health and support a healthy lifestyle and diet are becoming increasingly more popular. You can find out what all this has to do with the topic of artificial intelligence on Saturday at our GFU panel on the Dream Stage in the IFA Next Hall. Of course, AI will play a central role not only in digital health, but across all sectors. Until recently, AI was used mostly in industry applications where the technology provided a lot of support. Now, thanks to generative AI, consumers can also unlock the power of AI. Soon, they will be able to use their own artificial cognitive assistants. However, in many cases, consumers need and demand much more information and explanation. The acceptance of AI will largely depend on whether use cases will be truly useful. Will there be a killer app or a deeply intuitive way of using AI? Since this topic is one of the groundbreaking parameters of our industry, IFA will feature an entire summit dedicated to it, as Live already mentioned. And finally, as promised, I would like to give you an outlook for the rest of 2024. Here are a few of the decisive factors driving the market. The replacement cycle for devices and the availability of software support demand for products that help to mitigate climate change, like air conditioning units, air purifiers, and fans. Devices that help people to do their part to contain climate change. In other words, devices that are more sustainable and save energy, especially for heavy-used large electrical appliances. New products tend to save resources and therefore money, which is a tangible benefit for the consumers. Overall, we anticipate a positive development for the market during the second half of the year. And as every year, IFA, as the world's most important trade show for consumers and for consumer and home appliances, will make a significant contribution to delivering a successful end of the year for our industry. I hope you will be inspired by all the innovations and new products that will be showcased in all the halls around us during IFA 2024. And so, I wish you all a very productive IFA, interesting meetings, stimulating experiences, and a pleasant stay here in Berlin. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah. Do you mind joining me on this? First and foremost, really impressive insights. I understand it took quite a lot. I'm very excited because of this package here. Of course, we're just about to start with the Q&A. This is why for the last time I would like to introduce to you the QR code on screen so that you can use this one in order, if there are any questions remaining, to send them over here and actually send them here to the stage. And what I just want to say, somebody said, Patrice, this is the package, take it looks like fashion from IFA, and they said it's for a special person. I don't know why I'm supposed to hand it over to you, so.
Thank you very much, Patrice, and I'm really sorry that even though you hinted very delicately that you are interested in IFA fashion, this is not for you. It's for somebody special though, And we have somebody in the audience here who has been going to IFA for 50 years. And yes, I think that deserves a big applause. And so we have a little special gift for him, which I would like to bring him now quickly. Pavel, thank you very much for being our loyal IFA journalist of the past 50 years. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So I hope I didn't, I hope there's nobody else who I just missed. Is there anybody else who's been here for 50 years? Oh, Rainer, you will get one as well. Since 71. So that's even 53 years. So, Rainer, there will be a lot of merchandise in the Palais am Funkturm where the exhibition is, and you will get your hoodie there as well. Thank you.
Well accepted. It's a bit show off, but okay, 50 years, I can't beat that. So do you mind joining me now over here, where I kindly also would like to ask Lisa in live to come back to the stage for a Q&A. Please welcome with a round of applause, of course. All right. Shall we start now with the Q&A? I was told I shall have the first questions like on the screen, so don't hesitate just to send them. I mean, also, if you don't have any question, it's kind of a compliment for us, telling that we had everything all together. But here we go. Our first one coming in for Lisa. What will the future look like for trade shows like IFA?
Well, I think the future for any trade show, yet alone IFA, has really been proven out by the value of face-to-face contact. I think we were all reminded how much human contact was missed through the pandemic. And whether it's consumer electronics or whether it's any trade show, then the connecting of individuals together face-to-face, I think, is vital for its success. Feeling product, seeing product, building a community, building a network is irreplaceable.
And also, I think you should see it by yourself, because already backstage I saw that somebody said, like, there's already a link to the press conference, but it's not even over. How can you have already a review about it? Take your time. As the next one, it's coming for live. You mentioned AI as a big topic. What should journalists definitely see here at IFA?
Of course, there's plenty to see, as I mentioned in my speech. But there's one thing I would all invite you for. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, there will be a breakfast in the media center with one of the minister of Taiwan. And I visited this year Computex in Taiwan, in Taipei, and I was overwhelmed by how they deal with the technology of AI. And therefore, we are very happy that they are our guests here. And tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, we will talk about it.
Looking forward for that. As we do, also thank you for the question. Thank you for the next one. This is for you, Sarah. How does IFA support the market for consumer electronics and home appliances?
Well, IFA takes place in September, which is just before the last quarter of the year, which is for consumer electronics and home appliances, a very important time of the year. There is a lot of promotions going on and a lot of end-of-year shopping. There are the big festivities coming up where people give each other a really great gift. So we always are a very innovative show. People can come and look at what's in store and then go and buy these products for their loved ones or perhaps for themselves.
Thank you for that question. Thank you for the answer. Next one, again, for live. Can you give us some details how IFA wants to become more interesting, especially for younger consumers, people like me?
Almost, yeah?
Yeah.
So, first of all, we wanted to give a signal, a visual signal that we already did with our rebranding. That's the first thing, because people should see there's a change. Then, of course, we created content for the younger generation. Like I mentioned, the 6 p.m. festival is targeting really the younger audience. And Also, what we are looking for in the IFA area, we also do a collaboration with the Club Commission of Berlin, for example. We also will have, for example, a DJ set with Panpot tomorrow late afternoon. So we want to talk about topics that that touch the young generation. And the gaming area, for example, as well, is getting more professional every single year. And next year, it will even get bigger. So what I want to say is we will deal with the topics that young generation is looking for. And we also look at the creativity, the content creation stage, about the influencers, the young content creators. And I think when we give that offer to the young generation, they will definitely come and see.
Thank you for that answer. Yeah, maybe I'm not that young anymore. But all right. Another question to you, dear Live. IFA in its 100th year is a special challenge and expectations are high. What are the biggest differences in the concept compared to IFA 2023?
I would say when I was starting to take over the responsibility, number one, and that is I think one of the main things that changed, is communication. So the clear goal was that we want to be more clear, more transparent, and we want to share what we are doing, why we are doing. That means with all exhibitors, so the strong content for our customer, that means the exhibitors, the end consumer, but for the press worldwide as well. We want to keep that dialogue on eye level. That is maybe the most important change. Of course, the rebranding, and that we bring the entertainment factor. That I said, cultural moment, cultural event will be consistently there in the upcoming years, and this year is the starting point.
Thank you for this answer. Coming to the next one for you, Sarah. Sarah, what products in home appliances are doing best?
So there is always the wish to have something special in products that are already on the market. As I said, there are sometimes innovations within the products, not just a new product, but making things better. And for example, what's been really doing well is the steam function in washing machines. And it really helps because sometimes you don't have to wash something, but to just freshen it up. It saves water, it saves energy, and it is very quickly, and you will not even have to iron it. So that is something that works well. And also on the vacuums, the docking station vacuum cleaners have also done extremely well in the very recent past.
It really shows how dumb I am. The minute you said there's like some steam in the washing machine, I expected it to do like dumplings or something like that, so I could cook with it. It's pretty much just like people were cooking in their dishwasher like a sous vide. Well,
not quite, I think. There are still two different devices for that.
Just wanted to make sure. Live, another one for you. Is the growing amount of European legislation and innovation push or the contrary?
Of course, it is a burden. So that is also one thing we had to discuss with the politics, because this could be a hurdle, maybe sometimes a too high hurdle, to be more innovative comparing to companies in other parts of the world. So yes, it is a hurdle. Nevertheless, we don't have to underestimate what we are currently doing. A lot of German companies are ahead of the average, so we don't have to, let's say, be negative. Nevertheless, we had to have a keen eye on that and stay in discussion with the politics.
Yeah, but then again, I think some security measures are important if you have idiots like me who just start cooking in their washing machine. So some standards, security-wise, should be there. Live. You're the man. There's another one for you.
Yeah.
What are your goals in regard of exhibitors and visitors this year and the ongoing years? I don't know if that's meant by numbers or by dress code. I'm not so sure.
Yeah, first of all, for us it's important to have the right exhibitors here on our booth. We are not looking for selling out the space by all means. We want to curate and have the market leaders in every area, the most significant and innovative companies on our booth. That leads quality for quantity, of course, but you see it this year, it works out. And the next upcoming years, of course, we will add customers or exhibitors we lost in the last 5, 6, 7 years. We are already in discussion with them. and I'm quite sure that this show will give us and everybody the proof that we understood how to get forward. So we will selectively add the lineup of our exhibitors and grow, but with the right, let's say, companies. And for, let's say, end consumer, we want to overcome the number of last year, means over 180,000 people were there, and creating an atmosphere of entertainment not only on our show. As I mentioned before, we want to go in the city, a citywide festival, like it was in the past. And this is one goal, that we want to attract more people coming to our show in the end. So it will a trend growing and coming maybe to the figures of the last couple of years in the early 2010.
Thank you, Live. Lisa, here's one for you. How satisfied are you with organization of the IFA so far?
Well, clearly we're at the early days. We haven't opened the show yet. But when I have experienced the way in which the teams have been engaging with one another and obviously the customer base, I've been extremely pleased. We hope we've been listening to both exhibitors and, of course, the visitors to try to understand much more clearly what they would like to see on site over the next week or so, the sort of products that they're looking for. We've worked heavily in building partnerships and alliances to make sure that we have the right exhibitors and visitors, as Leif has mentioned, and just to take a listening ear to see what is coming down the pipe at us in future, because clearly the customer base here is at the forefront of what's going on, and it's our job to be able to interpret that and to deliver a show both now and in the future that is replicable of what is coming in the future.
Thank you very much. Here's another one for you, dear Lisa. Is AI especially relevant for IFA or also for other exhibition formats?
I think it's highlighted even more so at IFA, but it is very relevant to every exhibition format, whether it's in terms of the visitor experience and how a visitor navigates around a show, pre-show planning for that visitor, and just as important for the exhibitors and the sponsors of a show, how they are accessing those individuals that are on site at a show is often driven by the work that they're doing in identifying the right customers that they would like to see, how they nurture those customers through the journey, pre-show and post-show, and how they are able to establish that post-show contact, which a lot of it is driven through AI.
I don't get it. Everybody keeps on talking about AI, and the only one who's talking about T-shirts is... Here's a question for all of you. What is your personal special highlight and recommendation for this IFA? We pretty much had that thing in the beginning, but let me start with you, Sarah.
I would really recommend to go and check out the exhibition of IFA 100 in the Palais am Funkturm. There are some really cool gadgets that have been developed in the past 100 years. One of my personal highlights is a Walkman of Sony. I personally had myself when I was that age. But like even things from 100 years ago, check it out. And there's also the merchandise. So this might be a good tip for you because you seem to really dig it.
I'm just asking for the colleague up front who didn't get anything. You know, I care for the journalists here. That's why.
Okay.
But thank you.
Sure.
How about you, Lisa?
I think I would recommend a visit to IFA Next. The Startup Innovation Zone is pretty much the lifeblood of our industry. And seeing the early stage products coming to market, the way in which that they have reimagined some aspects of the consumer electronics industry, I think is, for me, a very important part of what IFA stands for.
Yeah, for me, there are so many highlights. Everything is new for me, organizing it, and I would say one part of the entertainment section, small one from the audio stage, but of course take a look at the Summer Garden. Then seeing maybe the flying car in the IFA Next area, and then come and visit the biggest booths of our exhibitors who I already see them, or we try a lot to make it more excisive to everybody, so I would see that combination.
All right. I think that should have been, is that the, just asking? That was the last question at this point. As far as I understand, some of you also like booked some individual question later on. So I'd say that sums up the press conference here on stage. If there's not any further question, last question 1, last question 2, last question 3. That's it. So thank you so much. So a big thank you to Sarah, Dr. Sarah Warnecke at this point. Lisa Hannon, thank you so much. And of course also...
One moment. There is one more, 2 more. Sorry that I interrupt you, because you always mention fashion, and we want that you stay still looking good after the show. So therefore we have a little present for you as well. So you said you like the bomber jacket, maybe?
Well, I mean, I never...
We found one for you. Yeah.
Okay.
So here it is.
Okay.
Hopefully it's your size.
Suits you great.
Oh, okay. What do you think?
And
Eat this, Willy Brandt.
And Sarah, one thing we forgot, right?
Yeah, actually, so you made the gift to us by coming here, so we also want to give you back a little gift. And since we are celebrating 100 years of IFA, what do we have in store live?
Yes, we prepared something for you, as I said in the beginning. Let's celebrate. Birthday cakes for you.
Well, yes. I mean, this proves my point. Not everything can be covered by AI at this point. Look at this smiley faces. Just in case that you have one hand left, I just wanted to invite you now for the final photo call. So if anyone would like to take some pictures, I mean, just...
Nobody's interested.
Nobody's... Okay, we have
Cake
one
is very
here.
important.
So this would be your opportunity for the photo call at this point.
Okay, also good.
Cupcakes win. Okay.
They look great.
Here's some of them.
Okay.
Together.
All together.
Okay.
Alle 4 oder? Oh, ist die Jacke. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much for attending the press conference. Enjoy your stay in Berlin and have a great IFA. Dankeschön.